Welcome to Spiritual Foundations for Life. Many brand new believers, they have never been part of a church service before or a Christian fellowship before. They do their best to find a good church, a good congregation where the people seem friendly and where the people seem to go out of their way to make the new believers feel welcome. And the new believers are initially encouraged by the message that they're new creations in Christ. They would like to believe that, but they wonder why they still struggle with the same old issues, the same old thoughts, and the same old feelings. And all new believers have probably wondered that, and honestly, they deserve an adequate answer to that question. So let's start with an illustration. Suppose we played for an abusive soccer coach. He belittled his team and he ruled with fear and intimidation. In order to make the team, we had to learn how to cope, succeed, and survive under his abusive authority. Then one day we were traded to a new team and we got a new coach. The old coach was gone. Then we were no longer under the old coach's authority and we no longer had any relationship with him at all. Our new coach was nothing like our old coach. He was kind and respectful to the team, and he motivated the players out of love. But how did we initially relate to our new coach and our new teammates? Probably the same way that we'd been trained under the old coach. Hopefully, our relationship with our new coach, our behavior on the field, and our attitude towards the game would slowly change as we got to know the new coach. And we learned how to be a better team player on this well-coached team. Well, this is actually our true story. You see, we all started out on the wrong team. We were born physically alive, but spiritually dead in our transgressions and sins, according to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1. And we learned how to live independently of God. We had no relationship with God and no knowledge of His ways. So we learned how to cope and try by our own efforts to succeed in this fallen world. Having no other recourse, we did exactly what the Apostle Paul said we did. Ephesians chapter 2, verses 2 and 3, it says, "We followed the ways of this world and of the ruler of the kingdom of darkness, gratifying the cravings of our flesh and following its desires and thoughts. Like the rest, we were by nature deserving of wrath. And as a result, sinful thoughts and sinful desires were deeply ingrained in our minds. Then one day we became new creations in Christ. We were transferred to a different team and got a new coach. But no one pushed the reset button or the clear button in our memory banks in our mind. All of the previous training experiences and memories and habits were still programmed into our minds, which is why the Apostle Paul wrote in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." We were all conformed to this world. Even as believers, we will remain conformed to this world if we continue believing and living as we always have. So we must make a conscious decision to put aside the lifestyles of this present evil age, according to Galatians chapter 1, verse 4, and we must continuously be transformed by the renewing of our minds. The English word transformation comes from a Greek word, metamorphosis, which implies a total change from the inside out. The key to this transformation is in the mind, which is the control center of our thoughts, our attitudes, and our actions. Our key point today is that transformation begins at salvation, but continues as we renew our minds. And our key verse, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18, "And we all who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory are being transformed into His image with ever increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit." God bless you. See you tomorrow for another episode of Spiritual Foundations for Life.